Let's talk a little NBA. So last week we told you who the 5 best teams were. This week, NBA segment, let's talk about who are the best teams here at midseason. Oh, wait a minute. There you go. So here are the best teams here in the NBA here at the midpoint in the NBA season. So the best players, who are going to win the NBA, MVP, etc. That we had some big deals happen here. So we did have Victor Wembanyama, who was probably a defensive player of the year. He's not going to play anymore. So that also had to be adjusted. The rookie as well. One good rookie for the Philly. He's out for the season. So you have to adjust for that. What happened. So I kind of took those guys out. But let's just go over here real quick. Malik Beasley for the Pistons. The Pistons, I think, are a little bit better this year. I think this is a guy definitely who's been good on defense as far as their, sixth man of the year. Definitely scored some points for them. Peyton Pritchard is certainly fun to watch. So he's the cool pick. He's definitely been hitting a lot of those outside shots for the Celtics. The Celtics have a deep bench. I think this guy has led the way for him. DeAndre Hunter, I think, is absolutely the guy for them. He's actually just moved to Cleveland, was playing a lot in Atlanta. I think that will only help his chances playing on a good Cleveland team coming off the bench. So I like DeAndre Hunter here as well. This is probably Victor Wembanyama. I think I would have had it, but since he's going to be out for the year, I'm not going to put him. SGA, I think, is a tremendous defensive player. They're going to be a little biased against giving him the MVP, giving him the defensive player of the year because he's such a good offensive player. I think he's in the MVP race. But I look, this guy is phenomenal defense. This guy is Scottie Pippen, Michael Cooper. When I see him on defense, good on-ball stuff. Maybe the best on-ball guy in the league as far as defense is, as far as a guard. Dyson Daniels is phenomenal to watch. 3 steals a game. Getting in those running lanes, stealing the basketball, making an impact on defense. Fantastic. This is what you want more guards. This guy is a true pickpocket. You're talking about on-ball, Gary Payton type stuff, actually getting the ball away. Jaren Jackson, I think, is probably the new version of the Draymond Green physicality, getting guys, getting it physically. The Grizzlies, I think, have had success, I think, because of his play this year. This one was harder than to do. Cade Cunningham, I think, the improvement is the Pistons' improvement. The Pistons have been a little better this year. Tyler Hero, same, has been better. He scored more points, both of these guys. But I think they've had incremental improvement. They're in there. But I think the teams have gotten better. Tyler Hero's role is clearly bigger. But Norman Powell, I think, is huge, really saving the Clippers season here. Maybe not going that far, but you got Kawhi Leonard, a bit unpredictable as whatever. You got Norman Powell. The fact that he's improved has really helped the Clippers stay in the playoff race as well. The 2 Grizzlies, Zach Edey, great player from the Big Ten. I think probably not as good as some people thought, but also better than some people thought. There is a place in the league for a big physical center, changes shots as well. At times he does look a little slow, so maybe that hurts him on offense. But I think he can develop into that. Jalen Wells, I think, is really good. I think he's like 12 points a game. I think that's we've only seen the beginning with him. But Stephon Castle is a highlight. Stephon Castle is really fun to watch, and I think he's going to get more touches in the second half with Victor Wembanyama out for the season. MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo for the Bucks. One of my favorite players in the league as well. I think he's fantastic. Nikola Jokic, I think, has been carrying a really good Denver team all season. So absolutely, it's more of him by himself this year. But I got to go with SGA. I think when you're doing an MVP, the best player on the best team, there is nothing wrong with that as far as taking that. What does Kenny say? Could you realistically get Andrews? What's the question? You really think you could get for Andrews if they wanted to get rid of him? I'll get to that in a second. Till next time. Right. All right. So, but I think this is the best player in the NBA. I think he definitely deserves it as well. No question about it. SGA, the best player in the NBA and MVP. Answers the Andrews question, even though we were talking basketball there. I do think there's going to be a market for Andrews. There's not a lot of good tight ends in the league. I don't think a first is on the table, considering like he's in his late 20s, almost 30. But I mean, you still would probably put him in the top 5 tight ends. I think everybody's talking about Andrews around here like he's a fish or something, or not worth anything. Second or third, I think, is on the table. I think third most likely in the second. I think in there is a universe where somebody might give up a second, but a third. I think a third is probably more realistic for Andrews. All right. So, yeah, man. We just saw it. So let's go over it as well. 58-55. Let's get the lousy graphic up. That was unbelievable at the end of the Maryland Michigan State game tonight. So the Spartans were actually successful in College Park. Man, Michigan State, man, I got to tell you, all their teams look so similar because they have had they've had Tom Izzo there for so many years, and this was the Coke Bearman defense. The on-ball defense, the pressure, and everything they put on, that was definitely on display. They do not have a lot of scores in this team, like any individual guys. They have depth. They ran out 10 guys, and they wear you down on defense. Fears, I think, has been one of their outstanding freshmen. 5 points, 3 assists. Not a lot tonight from him. Even though I think you could argue he's been one of the best players. Jace Richardson has been coming on lately, 15 points, 8 rebounds. I think he scored the most tonight for the Spartans. I think, definitely to me, I think he had the best night on offense as well. Richardson had, what was it? He was 6 for 14 tonight. I thought he was pretty good. He had 8 rebounds, probably the only guy on offense that they had as well. Let's talk about Tabak. I think he was their big. They have a bunch of bigs that, again, the depth that they have. Xavier Booker, Corin Carr, and this guy was starting 7.6 rebounds, 7 foot, gave him a lot of size. I think he gave Derek Queen a lot of trouble in defense. I mean, he didn't score a lot of points, but he was really just putting a body on him all night long. And this is the guy tonight that broke our heart, Trey Holloman. 9 points, 3 rebounds, and he hit the game winner, the heartbreaking shot at the end there. That was from half court. I mean, I thought for sure this was going into overtime until Trey Holloman hit it. What happened with the Terps tonight? Very reliant on their starting 5. Miguel got in trouble early, 10 points, 10 rebounds. Queen, they were just swarming him all night. They have good defense. This is the second best defense in the Big Ten. This is the best defense. I mean, the scoring defense is something else, but they didn't score a lot of points. Queen was basically held in check. Gillespie did not have a good shooting night, but at least he was good at the line. I think he was like 2 for 11 or something like that. Yeah, he was like 2 for 10. But he hit all the free throws, which actually gave him that, and it was at least getting to the line. Ronnie Rice had by far the best offensive night. He was the only guy hitting his jumper. I think Rice is a good third option because you kind of take Queen away, you take other guys away, and Rice is the one. He seems like every time they try and do that, he's the guy that goes ahead and kills you. Heartbreaking stuff, man. So the Terps probably could have moved themselves into a top 4, top 5 NCAA tournament. They're definitely going dancing, but this was heartbreaking, like losing in this fashion. This happened right before that. Not too discouraging, though. Michigan State's really good. definitely going to the tournament, definitely showing that they can handle themselves against a team that's in the top 10. So I don't think they moved too far down. 15, that's been the highest rank of the year. So 58 to 55, no reason to be too discouraged if you are a Terp fan, even though they lost tonight, 7th loss for the Terps. Definitely going to March